How many victims?
There was none for her.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself, who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
I feel like some of you just do not know what children are supposed to act like because you beat your children into submission. So when you see a 7-year-old acting like a 7-year-old, you feel like something is wrong with them because you guys are still teaching your children to be seen and not heard. People saying Rumi looks like she has autism is so crazy to me because, again, like, what does that look like to you guys? But also, if she does, who cares?
A moment of pure, unbridled joy. That's all it was supposed to be when Rumi Carter stepped onto the stage alongside her mother, the incomparable Beyoncé. Thousands of screaming fans, dazzling lights, and a little girl soaking in the energy with uninhibited delight. It should have been a beautiful memory, celebrated worldwide. Instead, it became a nightmare. The internet went wild, but not for the reasons you'd expect. This single, innocent moment of public appearance was twisted into a grotesque spectacle, sparking vile accusations and forcing a global icon to question her deepest protective instincts. What really drove Beyoncé to hide her children from the world for so long? And why was this one shared moment enough to shatter her carefully constructed shield? The answers are more disturbing than you can imagine.
So I'm on the set of a photo shoot today for my book, and I wanted to tell you a corny joke because I have on all this glamorous hair and makeup, thanks to Cole and Darius. And Sienna on camera work. Got a corny joke. Want to hear it? Here it go. So, what happens when a snowman throws a tantrum? He has a meltdown. Y'all know this way.
When the music swelled and Rumi Carter, just 7 years old, emerged onto that massive stage during her mother's Cowboy Carter performance, the collective gasp of awe was palpable. She wasn't just a child, she was a tiny burst of pure, unfiltered sunshine. Waving enthusiastically, twirling with infectious delight, she embraced the spotlight with a joy that was both captivating and utterly genuine. It was a mother-daughter moment for the ages, a glimpse into the private world of one of the planet's most guarded families. But as the applause faded, a chilling darkness descended. Almost instantly, the digital mob mobilized. Anonymous accounts and self-proclaimed experts began dissecting every blink, every gesture, every childlike expression. Wild, harmful claims were thrown around with reckless abandon. People started tossing out medical terms they barely understood, attempting to diagnose a second grader in real time. It was nasty work, a horrifying demonstration of how quickly pure moments can be poisoned by online malice. But this wasn't just a random act of cruelty. It echoed a profoundly disturbing pattern that few truly recognized.
First of all, I was crying like a baby. Gail King and Oprah were there, and I mean, we were just in tears because it was so touching to see Beyoncé with her daughters because she's so protective of them.
For years, fans have marveled at Blue Ivy's evolution into a poised, seasoned performer, effortlessly owning the stage with a confidence far beyond her years. She moves with a practiced grace, hitting every mark like a true professional, a true performer. In stark contrast, Rumi's debut was all raw, beautiful spontaneity. She wasn't dancing to choreography, she was simply being. Her joy was pure, unfiltered, unafraid, yet that very authenticity became a target. This horrifying scrutiny isn't new for the Carters. Let's not forget, years ago, when Blue Ivy was around the same age, the internet showed a similar disturbing ruthlessness. Think pieces and nasty threads tore apart a little girl's appearance, dissecting her hair, her features, spewing ugly commentary that should never have made it onto a timeline, let alone out of someone's mouth. It was disturbing then, and now, with Rumi's precious moment, history has cruelly repeated itself, confirming every protective instinct Beyoncé ever harbored. But the true depth of Beyoncé's resolve to shield her children runs far deeper than just online trolls. It stems from an almost unimaginable trauma.
But the waves, everything, the energy is gone. Y'all, we can't never have nothing. I want the old Rumi back, period. I want the old Rumi back. Why y'all doing too much, all these think pieces, all y'all opinions and shit? Now she gotta come out there and be well behaved. Girl, Rumi said, if I can't come out here being myself, speaking to my fans, I'm not doing that dance. I'm just gonna stand here. The girl's so sarcastic though. Y'all seen that little wave where she was like, I know what y'all want, but I can't do it. I'm in trouble. They said I gotta do it right, or this gonna be my last stage presence. I don't like that. Let that little girl be.
The reason Beyoncé has kept her twins, Rumi and Sir, so fiercely private isn't about celebrity mystery or maintaining an exclusive image. It's born from a raw, harrowing experience that nearly cost her everything. Back in her Homecoming documentary, a rarely seen vulnerability was revealed. She spoke about her terrifying pregnancy, a battle against severe preeclampsia that pushed her body to its absolute limits. This wasn't just discomfort, it was a life-threatening condition that caused her blood pressure to skyrocket, threatening organ damage to her liver and kidneys. The very real risk to her life was immense. And then came the truly unbearable truth. During her pregnancy, one of the twins' heart rates stopped multiple times. Imagine the terror. This led to an emergency C-section, a desperate measure to save their lives. Beyoncé herself admitted the experience tested her more than she ever thought possible, shaking her to her core. When Rumi and Sir finally entered the world, her priority wasn't applause or social media fanfare. It was to protect them, to give them the chance to grow up peacefully, far from the suffocating glare of fame. This is the untold story, the silent trauma that fueled her unwavering dedication to privacy. Yet even armed with this profound, agonizing truth, the relentless public onslaught continued, twisting her sacrifice into an excuse for even more personal attacks.
If Beyonce's daughter, Rumi, is autistic, so what? The world keeps spinning. She looks like a happy child, well taken care of.
Despite the hidden agony Beyoncé endured, the relentless public clamor for Sir Carter's appearance escalated after Rumi's debut. Just because one twin graced the stage, the internet demanded a full family album, speculating wildly about Sir's absence. And it worsened. The disturbing trend of online diagnoses exploded, with people zooming in on Rumi's every move, her hand gestures, her playful wiggles, calling them signs. They jumped to medical conclusions, tossing out labels they barely understood, attempting to brand a little girl in real time as if she were a trending topic to be dissected. Even more insidiously, some began to suggest, well, if Rumi acts like this, Sir must be worse. That's why Beyoncé truly hides him. This kind of energy, this reckless invasion of privacy and projection of invented narratives, is precisely why Beyoncé has always kept her children out of the spotlight. And now, the internet was proving her foresight chillingly accurate. This wasn't just messy, it was profoundly harmful, turning a mother's vulnerability into fodder for a grotesque guessing game, a public trial for her own children. The digital vitriol wasn't confined to anonymous accounts either. Shockingly, other prominent figures plunged into the fray, adding fuel to the already raging fire. Azealia Banks, known for her controversial online presence, made headlines with direct accusatory remarks, publicly urging Beyoncé to stop hiding her son. She even went so far as to suggest that eventually people will find out, and Beyoncé would look bad for being too protective. Then, in a move that had the world reeling, a globally recognized rapper allegedly made comments that stirred even more explosive controversy. During one of his widely publicized rants, he reportedly questioned how the twins were conceived and threw around wild claims about their health. These weren't mere whispers, these were public figures wielding their platforms to amplify baseless, damaging speculation about children. The utter lack of boundaries, the blatant disregard for basic human decency was truly chilling. It sent a clear, undeniable message. No corner of their lives was safe from the relentless, often unhinged gaze of the public. And the weight of this public onslaught, this barrage of invasive and cruel judgment, had a visible, heartbreaking effect on the very child at its center. When Rumi Carter made her second stage appearance for Day 4 of the Cowboy Carter tour, the shift was stark, almost unnerving. The bubbly, wide-eyed ball of joy that had captivated the world days earlier was gone. In her place stood a calmer, quieter, almost reserved figure. She wasn't bouncing around with that same uninhibited wonder. Instead, she looked more focused, more poised, a stark contrast to her vibrant debut. People were quick to compare her to her elder sister, Blue Ivy, noting a newfound composure. It was as if someone had flipped a switch, and baby girl had been forced into full performer mode. The chilling implication was undeniable. The internet's negativity, the relentless dissection of her pure childhood joy, had already begun to leave its mark. Let's be real, you know Blue Ivy likely had something to do with that. As the seasoned backstage boss, she probably pulled Rumi aside, offering some big sister coaching. Look, you better act like your mama is Beyoncé and your daddy is Jay-Z. Don't go out there looking starstruck. You were born for this. Blue Ivy's cool, confident, and clocked-in stage presence is legendary, and it's only right she'd pass some of that polished energy down to her sister for self-preservation. But this visible transformation forces a crucial, uncomfortable question. How is it that in our increasingly digital world, we still find ways to tear down a joyful, carefree, beautiful little black girl just for living her moment? Seriously, what are we even doing? Let's be honest. If your mom was Beyoncé and you got to step on stage in front of thousands, you'd be bouncing off the walls too. That's not strange. That's normal childhood exuberance. Rumi was excited, glowing, soaking it all in. Instead of celebrating her for simply being a happy little girl, some chose to dissect it, labeling her behavior as wrong. The tide is finally turning, with many now rushing to Beyoncé's defense. There's absolutely no reason anyone should be going in on a child simply for acting like a child. The way some people are trying to push labels or diagnoses on her is not only unnecessary, but deeply harmful. Even if a child is neurodivergent in any way, what then? What exactly is the point of making that a public headline? Does it diminish her value, her joy, or her right to be on that stage with her mother? Not at all. Let's say it louder. If a young girl is excited to be on stage, surrounded by love, lights, and fans waving back at her, how is that not something to celebrate? How did we descend from a sweet moment between a mother and daughter to people throwing around medical terms based on a few seconds of footage? Truth is, Rumi behaved exactly how you'd expect a second grader to act in that situation, maybe even better. She waved, smiled, hugged her mama, and soaked in that crowd energy like a little superstar. That's not strange behavior, that's childhood. And again, even if she is neurodivergent, that still doesn't strip away her moment. It doesn't need to be turned into a diagnosis party on social media. Every child moves through the world in their own rhythm, and that's what makes them beautiful. Sadly, too many online have become self-proclaimed experts, quick to judge what they don't understand, ready to throw a label on any child who acts a little different, when in reality, they're just being kids, curious, excited, emotional, and undeniably human. So here we are. Beyoncé, a mother fiercely protective of her peace and her children's innocence, made the brave choice to share a rare, intimate moment with the world. And instead of being met with love and appreciation, she had to endure a brutal onslaught of assumptions, judgment, and unnecessary drama. It's exhausting, and it raises a critical question for all of us. Will the public ever learn to give Rumi and Sir the space to grow up without being under a microscopic judgmental glare? Or is this relentless toxic chaos an inevitable consequence of unparalleled fame? One thing is crystal clear. Beyoncé didn't owe anybody that moment. She gave it anyway, and instead of being met with understanding, she faced a tidal wave of disrespect, proving why she's been so guarded all along. Her protective energy isn't going anywhere, and neither is her fundamental right to decide when and how her children are seen. But now, I want to hear your take. Do you think the public will finally give the Carter twins the privacy they deserve, or is the noise only just getting started? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss.